Hello and good evening from Amsterdam. We are here with a new episode of Mind Explorations, Hypnotherapy and NLP. And today we have a more NLP colored subject than ever before, I think. Or quite. It is NLP, isn't it? And we are talking about, oh God, now it went away again. Mastering rapport with body language, how to build trust, influence, and connection in therapy. And with me is Derek Heron. And first of all, he's probably going to correct me. Is it an NLP thing, body language? Good evening.
Yeah, some of it is, some of it isn't. So yeah, a bit,
Okay,
a
now
bit.
I'll let you off. No, I'll let myself off. Would you introduce yourself, Derek, please? Who
Sure.
are you? What do you do?
Yes, I'm Derek Heron. I am a hypnotherapist and I'm a freelance body language analyst. So I work for mainstream media doing body language analysis of VIPs and celebrities and all sorts of people. So some examples way back many years ago, Grazia magazine asked me to cover the meeting of Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin at one of the G20 summits many years ago. And that was wonderful and very interesting.
Hmm.
More recently, I covered Prince Philip's funeral, covered the body language of the royal family for OK magazine and Prince Philip's funeral. That was quite good too. They were doing it live, so I was watching it live, making comments, and the stuff was going on the internet live as I said it pretty much. They had their team going on. And recently, very recently, Metro News, they got me involved in reading the body language of King Charles and Donald J. Trump when they
Oh,
met in America a few weeks ago. So that was, yeah, that was interesting. King Charles has got very specific mannerisms and tells that he uses frequently. So that was good
okay.
to see him on the
Do we
road.
want to
So
go into that, everyone?
no.
There's lots of people on here live, mainly people from Scotland, where Derek is from. But do we want to know anything about Prince Charles and Donald Trump? Or would you like to not know anything?
This no, it wasn't a particularly exciting experience. It was, it was the Prince Charles has very specific mannerisms. Touching his jacket, the hem of his jacket is a very specific one. He's also got a nose rub. If you see him rubbing his nose, that's a signal to his aides to get him out of here, get him
Oh,
move me on, get me something different to do. I'm bored, right?
oh, I'll
So
be watching that next time I
yeah,
see
look out for that one. Look out for that one.
it. LOLs in the chat. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
Um,
so I'm a hypnotherapist and a
let's
body
move
language
on.
analyst, and
Okay.
that's pretty much
Right.
it. So you know.
But how did you get into that?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Right. So I did hypnotherapy many years ago when I was in my 20s, and it was a little business, and it was quite a lucrative little business, but life happened and things happened, and I moved on and did other things, and then I
Hmm.
picked it back up again some time ago now, and stuck with it this time. Stuck with
Okay.
it this time. The body language thing, I also, as well as being a body language analyst, I'm also a professional magician and mind reader. So I do the kind of Darren Brown stuff. I'm a
Hmm.
corporate mind reader. So I do a lot of corporate things, keynotes, and after conference entertainment and stuff like that. Um,
Hmm.
and one of my friends in the business, a guy called Drew McAdam, and some of the Scottish people here know Drew McAdam, and he's probably Scotland's most renowned mind reader. Okay.
Hmm.
And he was approached by a national newspaper, who will remain nameless. He was approached by a national newspaper to cover, um, it was Alex Salmond's talk about Scottish independence
Hmm.
way back in 2014. And unfortunately, my colleague Drew was abroad at the time doing a gig. And so he said, look, I can't do it, but I know a man who can. So he gave him my name.
Hmm.
So as a mind reader, we use psychology, we read body language, we influence you using linguistics. That's
Mm-hmm.
all part of what we do in the show. We're constantly reading people. We need to make sure they've kind of got the influence we want them to get. Using linguistics and persuasive language, and so we read body language really, really well a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the time. And so he knew I was up for the job. So this newspaper, they took me on. They printed my comments,
Mm-hmm.
and basically my name got shared amongst journalists and editors, and so on and so on. Before I knew it, I was constantly doing these kind of things for media, TV,
Mm-hmm.
radio, newspapers, magazines, and some very, very, very large multinational companies also employed me.
Mm-hmm.
I've signed a couple of NDAs, so I can't say too much, but they employed me to sit in on high profile interviews
Mm-hmm.
just to observe the interviewees'
So like in the
body
management
language. Yeah,
level
but
or
yeah,
higher. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 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 big,
Mm-hmm.
big interviews. So they wanted me to just observe and make any notes about the responses and stuff. And, are they
Mm-hmm.
lying? you know, and
Okay,
stuff.
so how much can you tell about a person just by watching their body language?
Quite a lot, actually. It's surprising. One of the other things I did, I know, so many strings, but one of the other things I did, I used to be a tarot reader.
Okay.
So I used to do tarot. I mean, I'm a
You as
very,
tarot reader, sorry, you as a
yeah, I
tarot
know.
reader.
I am a
Derek is
super
one of the most
analytic.
evidence-based people I've ever met.
I know, I know, I know, I know. This is
Okay.
true. This is true. I'm so clinical and skeptical and analytical, but there you go. And it's incredible what you can tell. Just someone walks in, you observe how they're dressed, how they walk, how they talk, their mannerisms, how they sit, how they stand, everything about them. And you can tell so much about them just from the few moments that they walk in.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? The key to it is really with experience, you start to listen to your gut, to your instinct, to your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
I know the subconscious mind is now a controversial word to use. The subconscious in hypnotherapy is now kind of being removed slightly, and we're using more neuroscientific terms to describe that part of our brain that
Yeah.
functions at that level. But yeah, I listen to my subconscious. I listen to that little inner voice going, "This is what it is. This is
Mm-hmm.
and in tarot, you can say that this is what you want to tell them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I used to not listen to it and go, no, 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 just get on with the job, But
Mm-hmm.
you learn to trust that instinct and that
Mm-hmm.
intuition, and you find that it's so right so often,
Okay.
which is kind of
So
weird.
would that mean, okay, so when you read the tarot, do you tell people what they want to hear? Or do
No,
you tell them, oh, you have a man in your life? Yes, I
no,
do. How did you know?
you
No,
know,
what? How?
I've met so many tarot readers that just do this. They either do a set script or they
Mm-hmm.
have these stock lines, right? They
Mm-hmm.
have these the Forer effect, the Barnum statements, right? They have Barnum statements, i.e., statements that will fit everybody.
Okay.
You
So
know,
like
oh,
horoscope
yes,
things.
exactly
Mm.
that. Yeah, kind
Okay.
of exactly that. You can appear, you can appear quite decisive, but there's that occasion where you've got that indecision that you just have to work through and appear confident. These
Okay.
vague terms that fit
Yeah.
the vast majority of people, and I really, really, I hate that so much. I always told it like it was, right? I always told it
Yeah.
like it was. Um, I looked at the cards. The card would tell me the card. Every one of the 78 cards has a meaning, a specific
Mm-hmm.
meaning,
So
right?
yeah, so
And
let's say you get the Fool, new beginning.
okay,
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Okay, but
spot
your
on. Yeah,
subconscious tells you something different.
yeah, exactly.
So what
So
does it
so you
tell
could,
you?
yeah. Well, it depends on the person, right? You
Ah, okay.
you you relate that card to the person, what you've
Mm-hmm.
garnered from about that person, and so the full you can look into. I mean, I use a Rider Waite deck because it's incredibly pictorial. There's
Mm-hmm.
so much depth to the Rider Waite deck.
Yeah.
And so you look at the full, you know it's general meetings, yet new beginnings,
Hmm.
but you can apply so much more to that person. And you know
Okay.
what? There's a wonderful trick. If you're ever stuck and you ever don't know what the meaning is, ask the ask the sitter, ask the person who's with you. What do you get? What do you
Well,
get from
okay.
that card? What does that card say to you?
Uh-huh.
Right? And
Yeah.
they will use their own mind to interpret that card in the way that they want to,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So
But what is it?
it's
What is the point
win-win.
of a tarot reading if you're telling them what they want to?
So many people just need hope and
Hmm.
direction,
Okay.
right? And they just
Yeah.
need someone to give them that.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I've always been brutally honest. I've had some horrendous readings, and I've said, I see trouble in your family. I see division. I see shame.
Hmm.
I did this with one, and I was like, oh my God, this is not a good reading. This is, the cards are
Okay.
looking really bad.
Hmm.
But I was up and honest and said, I see shame. I see a lot of shame in your family. I see a lot of division. There's been, a traumatic event happen. And the woman was like, oh my God, my daughter's in prison. She stabbed her boyfriend.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay. I'll leave now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
spot on.
Yeah.
And so yeah, even if it's bad, I'll tell it like it is always.
So wouldn't that speak to the truth of the cards then, Derek?
Indeed.
Sorry, I need to
We're
need to
getting off
tease you
topic
again.
here.
We are, but you're being skeptical. It was about body language. So you're
Yes.
just telling me that actually you just all you did was read the cards. You weren't reading the woman's body language. You
Well,
read the cards and then you said what she said.
you do also read your body language.
Okay.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now I have a question in the chat here. Do you
Oh
see or
gosh,
feel auras and energy too?
no,
Like you listen to your subconscious voice? You
no.
don't. Okay.
I don't see
Okay.
auras. I don't sense energy. I sense energy in I sense the person's emotional state,
Hmm.
but I don't sense energy in the kind of quantum type thing
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I definitely don't see auras.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then
Maybe I
let's
should go to
get back on
Specsavers,
topic
but
from
yeah.
let's move from tarot and
Yes,
from auras and energy to
sure.
rapport. So
Yes.
what does rapport mean to you?
Okay, good question.
We didn't discuss any question
It's,
beforehand. So
no, no, no. So, everyone has a different idea of what report is. For me, in the contents, in the kind of scientific contents, and I'm going to go into a little bit about the science, hopefully,
mhm,
soon. But report is basically what happens when two nervous systems mentally signal safety to one another, right?
mhm,
When the mind is able to actively predict
mhm.
each other. So we have a prediction process. The brain uses a prediction process
Yeah.
to save time and save energy. So
Mhm,
when we're able to comfortably, successfully predict one another at an unconscious level, then that is definitely rapport.
okay.
Our behavior synchronizes, and again, that there's neuroscience behind how it synchronizes. We get reward for good
Mhm,
communication. We get a
mhm.
dopamine fix for good communication. All these are aspects of what rapport is.
Okay.
It's basically a neural alignment, I guess, of two people.
Mhm. Okay. It's an interesting one. Okay, so we
Okay.
want to build trust, influence, and connection in
Yes.
therapy. That's a subtitle. Now tell me, if I'm a new hypnotherapist or newish, or I've never heard of body language and I don't prescribe to it, why is body language important? I mean, to build rapport, yes, but why do I
Yes.
need to look at their body language and not just listen to their words?
Okay, yeah, absolutely good point. So body language is the non-verbal cues. All right.
Hmm.
So we can and these are they are very oh gosh, unconscious cues. All right. So
Stick with unconscious. Okay, why don't we define unconscious as
okay,
everything that's not in our conscious awareness at that moment?
yeah, but
Is that good?
beneath conscious awareness. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're
Okay.
not
Yeah.
consciously aware of these cues. All
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
unless you're a body language analyst, but that we'll get to that, right?
Okay.
So generally, people are not aware of these cues. So they are
Mm-hmm.
non-verbal cues. They are the way our posturing, our hand actions, our eye contact, all anything that's non-verbal, basically how we sit, how we
Mm-hmm.
speak, how we use our hands, how we speak. When I say that, it's the linguistics that we use. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's the words that we use, not necessarily what we're saying. It's the actual
Mm-hmm.
words that we use to say that.
Yeah.
But also anything that's non-verbal, absolutely, our breathing, our voice tone, our actions. If I fold my arms, if I sit back, if I lean in, if I turn my head,
Yep.
all of these that we're doing unconsciously, they mean
Mm-hmm.
something,
Yeah.
right? And we can use that to build rapport,
Mm-hmm.
and we can use that to create that connection with the client.
Okay.
That's what
So,
body language is.
okay. And what does that do for us and the client?
Okay, so yeah, good question. Right, so what does it do? It does so much. Let me explain some of this by going through some of the science behind rapport.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a funny story before I go into this. I was doing a talk about body language, specifically about body language,
Mm-hmm.
to a Rotary club. Now, in the UK, we have Rotary clubs, and Rotary
Mm-hmm.
clubs tend to be retired business people who want to give back to the community. So
Mm-hmm.
so they get together, they create charitable events, etc., and give back to the community. But they like to meet, frequently and have a speaker at every meeting just to keep themselves engaged, learn something new. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got invited to speak about body language, and at the end of my talk, there's this guy sitting in front row, no emotions, nothing. And at the very end, and I'm going to just push my camera back a little bit so you can see this. At the very end of the talk, he sat there and he folded his arms. He leant back, said, "I don't believe this body language nonsense." And he literally displayed body language in front of everyone. He closed his posture, he leant away from me, and then told me he didn't believe in it. And I simply went, "Ladies and gentlemen, my point in question." Ta-da! Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, um, and that was much fun. So, yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of science behind rapport, and the key to rapport is body language and linguistics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to rush through just a couple of things.
Not
Um,
rush. Take your time.
let's just, yeah, okay. I'll rush through it slowly. So we have mirror neurons. We have several areas in our brain that are called clusters of mirror neurons, and these
Mm-hmm.
mirror neurons become active when we perform an action, but they also become active when we see someone else perform a similar action.
Mm-hmm.
And when these mirror neurons are activated, they create a feeling of connection. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Two people doing the
Mm-hmm.
same action
Yeah.
we get this sense of connection. Again, this sense of connection is unconscious. It's out with
Mm-hmm.
our immediate conscious awareness. Sorry, we've got polyvagal theory by Stephen
Mm-hmm.
Porges.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's a self-regulation type thing that if we walk into a room and we see someone smiling, we take that we register that, oh, this is possibly a safe environment. We see
Mm-hmm.
someone else smiling, we think, oh, this is definitely a safe environment, and it causes us to smile as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of course, then someone else sees three people smiling and go, oh, this is a safe environment. We'll calm down. It works in the opposite way as well. Um, we can co-regulate with negative facial expression and again body language. We see the body language, we see
Mm-hmm.
relaxed posturing, we feel safe. We see tense posturing and we start to become a little bit edgy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's neurosynchrony. When two people are engaging, the mind synchronizes. The frequencies synchronize, the thought processes synchronize, and connected with that is
Hmm.
predictive processing.
Right.
So the brain saves time and literally energy by trying to predict things. What is the
Mhm.
next thing that's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? So if it sees something falling, it instantly makes for a grab. It predicts, oh, that's going to hit the floor. I'll grab it.
Hmm.
And it's the same with actions. That's why it's super important, and I'll go for a slight tangent here. That's why congruent body language is super important. What I
Hmm.
mean by that is that a collection of your body language all say the same thing,
Hmm.
right? And what you say reflects your body language as well. So having a
Right.
congruent display of tells and linguistics makes it easier for the brain to predict the next thing. They see a pattern, they recognize how this looks,
Hmm.
and they know that this looks safe. If you're incongruent, their mind cannot then successfully predict things and you become a threat.
Okay, so
That's
something like, I really care about you is
yes,
non-congruent. Yeah. Okay. Right.
yes, right. And the default for the brain is this is a threat.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's not just, oh, that's unusual. It's no,
Hmm.
I don't understand this. I'm taking this as
Yeah.
a threat.
Okay. Right.
Okay. We've got other things like oxytocin. So social bonding really causes the hypothalamus to release oxytocin, and we bond. We bond with that
Hmm.
person.
Hmm.
Likewise, when we are engaging in good conversation, we get a little dopamine fix, and then kind of encourages us to continue that engagement because we're
Hmm.
getting a little reward, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
there's things like the emotional contagion. Laughing is
Yeah.
infectious. But so is upset and crying. At a funeral, you hear, someone 2 aisles away starting to sob, and you start
Yeah.
to find yourself welling up yourself, right? Emotional
Mm.
contagion.
Yeah.
Things like behavioral synchrony, mirroring. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing, right? So that's called behavioral synchrony. Again, when two people are engaged in a good conversation, they start to mirror one another's posturing,
Hmm.
and so on. And I could go on, but there
Can we
you go.
transfer that between two people to a group as well?
Yes.
Okay. Hmm.
Generally, yes. The posturing, not so much. It looks kind of weird, but you can see it in groups where they're all standing like this, talking to each other, right?
Hmm.
You can't see
Right.
my hand down here, but basically they're all standing like that, chatting, and that's
Mm.
that's that's behavioral synchrony as
Right.
well, or mirroring. Yeah.
Mhm. So, okay, I was thinking about, everybody marching in the same, soldiers marching, for example, would that do the same kind of thing? Just maybe.
Well, not really. The soldiers marching are in command, and they're taught to march
Hmm.
in camp, right? So it's not a natural nor unconscious act. It's a very much
Okay.
regimented act.
So
So
only unconscious, so,
unconscious, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the good thing
below
is,
below conscious awareness, unconscious.
yes, below conscious awareness.
God, we're stumbling around that term, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
know, I know.
Okay, so you started talking about rapport, and you were going to talk about rapport and body language, I believe, right?
Okay, okay.
So yeah,
So
just to
let's
get us back on track. Sorry from that soldier.
So let's take this a little bit further. We're going to talk
Hmm.
about rapport body language.
Hmm.
So there are so many neuromechanisms within the brain that respond well to positive engagement,
Hmm.
right? And when we have positive engagement, when the body, and what we're trying to achieve here is a sense of safety.
Hmm.
When we've got that client feeling safe, that client is more willing to open up,
Hmm.
and that client is then going to be more open to suggestion,
Hmm.
more open, and we'll get on to that in a minute, but more
Yeah.
open to suggestion. And as a therapist, hypnotherapist, or a therapist, or a coach, that's what we want. We want someone who's open to new ideas, new approaches. That's
Hmm.
their way forward. That's the way to achieving whatever outcome that client wants to achieve,
Hmm.
by
Yeah.
whatever reason they're there, right?
So in short, if we don't use the polyvagal theory, but use sympathetic and parasympathetic, then they wouldn't
Yep.
be in sympathetic, the stressed state, the fight or flight state, but they would be in the parasympathetic state, that's rest and digest.
Yes,
Yeah, is that
correct.
correct? Or
And that,
can they
yes,
still
yes,
be?
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's part of the polyvagal theory. Yes,
part. Yeah, I know. I'm just not so much a friend of the
I know
polyvagal
that's okay. That's okay.
theory.
It's quite a complex theory, and some of it is controversial. Some of it is absolutely solid and grounded, but
Right.
some parts are more controversial than others, and they're still
Mhm.
under kind of scrutiny. So
Okay.
don't you know? A polyvagal theory is just one of the many mechanisms that the brain
Mhm.
has to that responds to engagement and
Yeah.
rapport building, right?
Hmm. Okay. So
So.
client feels safe, opens up, is open to suggestion.
Yeah. So if we use our observational skills and we mirror or closely reproduce our clients' posturing, then they will activate many of the things I've just mentioned, all these
Hmm.
different mechanisms that the brain responds to.
Hmm.
So we should observe and mirror.
Hmm.
So, if someone, maybe if the client strokes their beard, right? Like that, because they're thinking how they're going to answer this and they stroke their beard.
Hmm.
Well, we can do something similar. Even if we don't have a beard, we can maybe sit like this
Hmm.
and listen,
Yeah.
right? We're doing a similar action. If
Hmm.
we were to mimic, that is, directly replicate the actions of the client, we will be caught out pretty quickly, right? So,
Yeah.
especially if
Mm.
you don't have a beard, right? You start
Yeah.
choking and stroking your chin. That's
Yeah, that would
not going
look a
to
bit
look good.
weird, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yes,
It's a
yeah.
bit mocking.
So,
Yeah.
yes, so yeah, exactly. We look weird,
Hmm.
right? And the client's going to notice this instantly, and then chances of rapport are completely gone. No chance.
Right. Hmm.
You've lost it, right? So we have to be very careful. We have to be very natural in our actions and our movements. We have to take our time. You don't have to, if you see the client stroking their beard, you don't have to go, oh, right, yes, carry on, carry on. We can do this at our leisure.
Hmm.
We can do this in a natural process. Tell me more. That's really interesting.
Hmm.
You don't have to go, "Mm, right,
Yeah.
carry on." Okay, so we can mirror at a very gentle pace, but it does have an unconscious effect. We're
Yeah.
activating mirror neurons. We're activating so many synchronicities and so on. Right?
Hmm. So
We're
what are the most
firing.
common gestures? Sorry. Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, there is quite a common one for stress, and you probably have all done it at some point, and that's rubbing the back of your neck. Oh
Hmm.
God, what a day. Okay,
Yeah.
especially after a
Mhm.
hard client, a tough client, we go, oh, geez, that was tough, right? So that's a very common gesture.
Mm.
Another one is, oh dear God, right? And stuff like that. And again, we're hiding our eyes from the
Yeah.
situation. Another one
Yeah.
is, rubbing the nose. Rubbing your nose is a great one if you're lying. People who lie will rub their nose
Because? Why is that?
because, well, what they're actually doing is
They're
they're
covering their
not,
mouth.
yeah, they're covering their mouth. And again, they're stopping the lie coming out, right?
Ah,
They're trying to stop the
okay.
lie
Yeah.
coming out. Okay. Things like other liars the throat will become dry and they'll cough
Hmm.
repeatedly because they're lying, because their throat's
Okay.
dry,
Is
because
that
they're
always the
nervous.
case?
Well, no,
Maybe not
it's
always, yeah, but
nothing's nothing's
yeah.
set. It's not an exact science. So everybody's different. Blink rate increases if you're lying.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you're lying, you tend to overcompensate what you're saying. So, if you went to the shops for a pint of milk, but actually you went to have a quick liaison with your secret lover, you might go, oh yeah, the wife says, where were you? Oh, I was just at the shops. If you were telling the truth, you just say I was at the shops getting milk. If you were lying, you might feel yourself, oh, I was at the shops, I was just getting milk, and I had a wee wander around, and I saw Mavis from down the road, and you overcompensate because you're nervous about being found out, so you tend to
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
instinctively overcompensate. But anyway,
Hmm.
we digress. So,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
so Mirroring is part of that rapport
Mm-hmm.
building exercise. We activate lots of different parts of the brain, as I discussed earlier, the neuroscience behind it all. Another thing we can do is we can use linguistics to build rapport, and
Mm-hmm.
we can use the different modalities in linguistics: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So if a client says, so you know what I'm talking about here, and the
Yeah.
NLPers within the room will know exactly what I'm talking about here. You know, if a client says, I see what you mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I do.
Yeah.
Or the future's starting to look better,
Mm-hmm.
right? So these are visual modalities,
Mm-hmm.
visual linguistics. Or auditory might be, well, that sounds good, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. So
Mm-hmm.
there's an auditory linguistic sentence, and
Mm-hmm.
kinesthetic might be, oh, I don't feel comfortable with that, or that doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's kinesthetic ideas.
Mm.
So what we can do is speak their language, throw
Yeah.
in a visual reference if they are visually focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also use their words. So if I get, if your client's talking about their wife, if they refer to that person as their wife, refer to the person back. Oh, so you
That's
mentioned
true.
your wife was whatever, right? If they
Mm-hmm.
call that person Linda or Samantha or whatever, oh,
Mm-hmm.
so Linda said to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Repeat it back to them. Use the words that they use. This is especially important if you do
Yeah.
sexual health issues, okay?
Right.
Especially with guys, because guys don't know what to call their penis or their manhood or that sexual organ that they have, right? They don't know what to
Mm-hmm.
call it in front of
Mm-hmm.
you, right?
Okay.
They
Yeah.
know what the word they use, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also nice to reassure them, look, call it what you like.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use whatever they call it, you use that word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes them feel relaxed about using it. And if they feel
Yeah.
relaxed about using it, they will
Yeah.
use it and they'll talk about it and they'll,
Mm.
talk about the
Makes
sexual health
sense.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, these are all ways to build rapport, to
Mm-hmm.
make clients feel safe, to make clients feel understood, to make clients feel validated,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So which is what we're here for, right? So
Yeah.
that's that. And so the key to rapport building is really the three main pillars, and we all know them: mirroring, pacing, and leading.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
And we can achieve that using body language, observation, and the delivery of our own body language, and
Mm-hmm.
linguistics. Again, listening and using what we hear in our own linguistic deliveries. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I kind of want to touch on this a little bit more is that, and I experience this myself when we're learning, when we're doing, a hypnosis diploma, or when we're doing an NLP certificate or whatever. Some people struggle with the three: mirroring, pacing, and leading. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they find it difficult to work out which is which.
Yeah.
And I totally get that because it's so fluid that sometimes it's difficult to work out the difference, especially perhaps between pacing and leading, and
Yeah.
sometimes mirroring and pacing, because the differences are quite subtle, right?
Okay. So let us
So,
know.
I thought they were subtle, right? So maybe it's just me, but so mirroring is basically you are saying, not directly, obviously, but in an unconscious way, you are saying, I'm with you. So you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine it, you're standing side by side with the client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Mm-hmm.
Pacing is, I understand your current experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand, and I am so in the same kind of analogy, you're walking the same journey, you're walking the same path as your
Mm-hmm.
client, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand your current experience here.
Mm-hmm.
And
As you're sitting there. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what it is? Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. And so leading is basically, you're on this path, and then you
Mm-hmm.
go, well, have you considered going in this path?
Mm-hmm.
We've came this far. How about we go left
Mm-hmm.
instead of your usual right this time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when a therapist mirrors and paces into the client's world, when they
Yeah.
lead, they gently show that another world is possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, so you tell
Okay.
them I'm the same as you, and if I can go this way, you can too?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yes, you're kind of leading that.
Mm.
We have a rapport now. We built that trust. We built that safety.
Mm.
Um, so now that you trust me, now that you feel safe, let's let's look at options. Let's look
Mm-hmm.
at alternatives to where you've
Mm-hmm.
already been. I mean, I can
Yeah.
do. I've got a little kind of dialogue that I made up. If we can go through it. I don't have enough time, but
A
we can go
dialogue.
through this. And this is completely made up. So don't it's just made up for educational purposes.
Okay. Yeah.
So the client might say, I've been feeling really overwhelmed with work lately every week. There seems to be another deadline, another problem, another thing we have to deal with. And the therapist mirroring, might say, a constant stream of demands. I've just paraphrased what he said,
Mm-hmm.
right? What the client
Yeah.
said. I've condensed that. Constant stream of demands. And the client might go, yeah, I keep thinking I'll finally catch up, but something else comes along. So the therapist might mirror again and say, so just when you think you're getting ahead, another task appears.
Mm-hmm.
The client says, exactly. So
Yeah.
we've just mirrored, we've just said what the client said, but we've said
Mm-hmm.
it differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the client might say, yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's exhausting. I feel like I'm carrying it around with me all the time. So the therapist might go, like you're carrying a pretty heavy load right now. Now, what I've done here is we've mirrored, but we've also used that kinesthetic modality right back
Yeah.
at him, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he's exhausted, he's carrying it around, and we talk about a heavy burden. So
Mm-hmm.
we're using the kinesthetic modality right
Yeah.
back at him, right?
So this is general therapy, not just hypnotherapy.
This
Yeah.
is general
Mm-hmm.
therapy. This is absolutely
Wonderful.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Mm-hmm.
so and the client would say, yeah, that's how it feels. So the therapist can now begin, and this is a British version, but the therapist can now begin to pace.
Mm-hmm.
So during the day, you're trying to manage all that demand, that one demand after another, and so when you get home, the pressure doesn't really leave the office. It doesn't leave with the office. It goes with you.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. You're right. It comes home with me. And so the therapist continuing to pace. Your mind
Mm-hmm.
is still occupied by what's unfinished and what's coming next. Is that right? And what's might go wrong. The client goes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. The
Right.
therapist might continue to pace, right? And so on with this walking beside the client with his experience, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we can then go, we can still pace and say, so given how relentless that cycle must be, and it makes sense that you're feeling exhausted. And the client goes, yeah, it actually helps hearing you put it that way. You get it, you understand. And then you
Mm-hmm.
can say, well, I'm curious about something. Despite how overwhelmed you've been, what has allowed you to keep going, right? And now we're starting to open new territory. I don't know, I do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can say, so even though it feels heavy, you've still been showing up and handling all these responsibilities. Yeah, I suppose I have.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start to move into leading in new directions and, you know, focusing on strategies to help with these
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, issues, right? And you can use the modalities again, where
Yeah.
appropriate, and then start to lead towards, I don't know, de-stressing exercises, a hypno, whatever,
Yeah.
and to lead them down a new path.
Mm-hmm. No,
I
it
mean,
sounds good.
I've kind of bridged the conversation because it does go on a wee bit more, probably
Yeah.
expanded it too much, but that's the general
Right.
idea.
Okay. And this, because we're of course specifically in the hypnotherapy and NLP space, if we are doing this around or inside of a hypnotherapy session, when will we use that?
Yeah, I mean, you can use that as the initial discussion, obviously.
Yeah.
Again, you can use pacing and leading in the induction and in the
Mm,
hypnosis.
yeah.
A great one is the 7 ± 2 induction.
Hmm.
You're aware of the firmness of the seat beneath you,
Yeah.
your breathing, the sound of my voice, the position of your feet, and so on. So and of course you're pacing there because the client can
Yeah.
feel
Yep, I can.
sensation,
Yep,
all of
I'm
these
doing that.
things.
Yes.
Yep,
Yep.
right.
Yep. Yep.
And there you can lead it.
Hmm.
And so 7 ± 2, you can let go of all these things, and all you've got left to do is relax,
Mm,
right? Nothing else to do
yeah.
but relax, and then you can start leading. And as you
Mm,
relax more and more fully, you know, I want you to imagine that you're traveling down to that mystical, magical, perfect place,
yeah.
that place of peace and calm, so on and so on, right? You can do
Yeah.
whatever you think. And that's you leading. You're now leading, you pace the client to a certain point, and now you're leading that client into a deeper and deeper state of hypnosis.
Hmm.
If you believe
Okay.
in hypnotic depth, that is. But let's not go
I
there.
do. I do.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry. Um, okay, so that's rapport. That's the words.
Yes,
And you said the body language, among other things, it's the non-verbal part of the session.
yes.
I guess among other things. I don't think you said that, but is there anything else besides body language that will influence a session?
Well, no, no. So, when you're using body language, you're firing off all these parts of the brain that respond to that thing, respond
Hmm.
at an unconscious level, respond to it,
Hmm.
and it then puts that client into a state of feeling safe. It puts that
Hmm.
client in a state of feeling heard, feeling validated, and feeling, seen.
Hmm.
What
Okay.
the importance is, and what I'm kind of leading to here, is that what do we do once we know this? What do we do once we can observe this body language? We get used to seeing, our client respond. We get used to
Hmm.
seeing. So if your client comes in anxious and they speak fast, their breathing is rapid, their posture is tight, they might close up, they might be protective with their arms
Hmm.
folded. And I will recommend reading for body language if you want to learn it.
Hmm.
And as we develop the rapport, as we engage with the client and the rapport becomes stronger, we see the client shoulders relax.
Hmm.
We see maybe the physical barriers drop down. We see
Hmm.
the breathing settle. We see the linguistics slowing down, the pace of the speech slowing down. We see them open. We see them telling us more. We hear them tell us more. We hear them settle into the conversation,
Hmm.
into the engagement more.
Right.
So we've learned all this observation. We've learned to read body language from our book or from doing my course. Oh, joking.
Oh.
Um, so
You do
so
not have a course yet, but it's
no. What do we do? What do we do with that? What do we
yeah.
do with that? Right. And here's the thing: when we're talking with a client and we see a shift in their body language, we're onto something, right?
Hmm.
So an example is, the client might be sitting there and, I mean, a perfect example, real example, I had a client who had a fear of flying, but it wasn't a fear of flying as such. It was actually a fear of being in an airplane.
Hmm.
There was a subtle difference. And I didn't do the
Right.
rewind because it wasn't really a fear of flying.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so I said, so when did this all happen? And she said, when I was, when I was about 15. I said, okay. So what was happening around about that time? Oh, it was a tough time and family was difficult and stuff. I said, and so what was difficult about the family? Right. Instant
Oh
drop.
yeah. Yeah.
Head came down. Little crack in the voice.
Hmm.
Well, right. started talking to her chin,
Yeah.
avoided eye contact, and she then revealed, she'd been sexually abused at 15,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
But all the signs were there. Now,
Yeah.
she could have said, so if you watch for these signs, oh, no, family time, it was a tough time for the family, right? You can be very gentle and say things like, okay, so you mentioned it being a tough time in family, and I noticed that, you kind of slowed down and had a little think about that. What's
Hmm.
going on there? Do you want to
Hmm.
tell me about that? Something
Hmm.
there that you would like to share with me? Just be
Hmm.
gentle probing, be inquisitive, be, curious.
Hmm.
Because when you see a shift in body language, it's a huge unconscious tell
Right.
that there's something that needs looked into, that needs to be explored.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
if you choose to ignore it, you're you're going to miss that opportunity, that open door, that gate that's suddenly open to you, that
Hmm.
will take you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
That's that's where I needed to be with that particular client.
Hmm.
That key piece of information was pivotal to a one session fix of
Yeah.
her flight issue, right?
Hmm.
There was a
Yeah.
very there was a very distinct link between what happened when she was 15 and why she felt the way she felt in the plane.
Right.
But there you go.
So,
So
okay, can I just ask if I'm
yeah,
completely unaware as a new therapist and okay, this shoulder drop, okay, I can recognize that. Maybe a crack in the voice, but what else might be there as a sign of, opening up or something happening that I could pay attention to?
loads. So the first thing you have to do is pay attention to the client as they are.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a baseline. So you see how they are. That
Yeah.
baseline might be softening as
Mm-hmm.
time goes on, but
Mm-hmm.
you get an idea of, when they're in casual conversation with you and they've opened up, this is their baseline. And so you're
Yeah.
looking for shifts. You're looking for anything that changes.
Right.
Um, and that can be, as I said, that can be a change in eye contact, it can be a change in breathing, it can be a change in posture. Do they start to fidget? Do they feel uneasy? Do they move about the seat? They literally squirm in the seat because it's a
Mm.
difficult subject.
Mm-hmm.
Does the blink rate increase because, again, they're becoming anxious? Does their
Yeah.
mouth dry up because they're becoming anxious?
Mm-hmm.
Do the shoulders drop and the head drops with it, showing that they're trying to avoid your gaze because they
Difficult
fear that
subject. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
something's going to come up that they need to talk about or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So
Yeah.
any shift really, because it can be a shift in either direction. It can be something that going to become anxious about discussing, or it can be a shift where it's going to be something to lead to something positive they're going to be discussing, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly they can become more positive and more
Yeah.
upbeat, right? So you're looking ideally for a shift, and that can present in so many different ways, from
Mm-hmm.
linguistics to body language. So it's
Right.
looking for that change. That
Can I be a good therapist if I don't pay attention to any of that?
Oh, of course you can. Of course you
Okay.
can. But you can be a better therapist if you do pay attention.
Okay. Ooh, good one.
And you're going to accelerate how quickly you build that rapport
Hmm.
by using your body language and by using your linguistics. And the quicker you build that rapport, the quicker you're going to move forward with your client. It's
Hmm.
been, neuroscience has defined that rapport is the most predictive mechanism in successful therapeutic outcomes. The
Right.
better the rapport, guaranteed better success with your outcome. It's key
Okay.
to a
And when I
successful
don't
outcome.
have any rapport with a client,
Change your
how
job.
successful? Sorry. Okay. So I
That
do
was
have to
easy.
be yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So what should I become? Ah ha ha. No, never mind. Okay, right. Guys, do you have any questions, everybody who's watching the replay right now? Because you are allowed to either put it into the chat or talk. If you are watching the replay and you have questions, put them into the comments and ask Derek. But you weren't finished yet, I don't think, because there was more to come, I think.
There's always more.
There's
So
always more. Okay. Now
there's
I
always
just
more.
need to ask in between because it takes time to
Okay,
type.
I'll mention a couple of books that you should read if you're interested in learning body language. I'll do a couple of book recommendations. So
Yeah.
this one is Judy James' Body Language Bible. I've actually worked
Right.
with Judy James on a couple of projects now and again,
Okay.
and we thankfully we did agree on the same body language that was the observations that we made.
Hmm.
I still refer to this book. It is a wonderful book. It
Hold it
really
still,
is.
please. There's a screenshot moment. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, wonderful.
that's
Oh,
fine.
you smile too.
It's quite texty, so there's a lot of reading in
Yeah.
that. If you want
Okay.
something lighter,
Hmm.
I'll hold this still for a moment, right?
Body Language at Work, Read the Signs and Make the Right Moves by Hamlin, or is that the
Yes. Yep.
publisher? Is that the
Yeah.
name of the
Yes.
Okay.
It's the
Hamlin.
publisher. Okay.
Ah,
So
okay.
there's the name.
Peter at
Uh,
the bottom, I see Peter Clayton. Okay.
okay.
Right.
And it's not necessarily just at work, but it's full of pictures. It's got tons of
Oh,
pictures
very good.
you know, right?
Yeah.
And all the words are in crayon, so it's like much lighter reading. And
Hmm.
obviously, I'm going to mention one more book, which is super close
Oh,
to me. Yeah. Oh, what?
God.
Oh, what?
No, go ahead. You're
Yeah,
allowed
I
to.
didn't have to be an expert in body language analysis there, did I, Astrid? Yeah, that was the
No,
one.
go ahead.
It's, I'll
The
do this
Hidden
one as
Language
a,
of Rapport. I know who that's by. A little bit
yes.
higher
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
says
yeah.
Derek Heron. That's
Okay.
your own
Yeah.
book. Body
Okay. Yeah,
Language
it's
and
my own
Rapport
book.
for Therapists, Coaches, and Everyday Connection. Where
Yep.
can we get this book, Derek?
You can get this on Amazon, right? So you can
Good.
get this on Amazon. It's got body language bits at the start, and then it
Hmm.
goes on to the science of rapport and loads of stuff. It's got how to deal with groups, it's how to combat resistant clients, it's how to
Hmm.
combat deal with clients that have got PTSD, just
Very
tips
good.
on really how to approach PTSD clients. It's got the ABC of VAK. It's got tons of stuff. It's written specifically for therapists and hypnotherapists and
Wonderful.
coaches.
That's what we need.
Great book.
Okay, Mandy, I'll have
Great
you on
book.
in a second. But Derek, we mentioned earlier you do not have a course yet.
No, I don't have
Was
a
that a
course
yet?
yet.
However, we also said that you don't have a workshop yet. However,
Yes.
it's my third
However,
however, I think.
if there
Um,
is interest and demand, then there will be. I've got a ton of material
yeah.
that, we haven't even scratched the surface on this. But I've got, lots and lots of material that we can use, and it's applicable. It's stuff literally I use in the therapy room day in, day out. But
Hmm.
also, it's how to deal with so many different types of clients. It really is, and how to use body language appropriately for different situations.
Yeah. So if you guys are watching the replay or live on now, please comment, not here in the chat, but later on when the replay is posted inside of the Mind Explorations Hypnotherapy and NLP group. If you are not a member, but you are a hypnotherapist or NLP practitioner, please come and join us. And if there's enough people, I don't know what enough means to Derek, but then he might put on a workshop, a one-day workshop. And
Yes.
Elaine says, I will definitely be purchasing your book, Derek. Wonderful.
Woohoo!
There you go. I think I'll need one at the UK conference and have it signed by you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay. But now Mandy has a question. So would
Okay.
you like to just shout into the room?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, right.
Yeah.
Everything that you have said about reading someone, okay, I
Yes.
do all of them. So,
Okay.
what does that say about me? I don't
Okay.
keep still. I'm always rubbing my neck because I've got a sore neck.
Right.
Um, I play with my chin.
Okay. So yeah, one of the things that will put a client off slightly is someone who doesn't stay still. Okay. That
I
upsets
no, I
the.
don't do it I
Okay.
don't do it in a session.
Right. Okay. Oh, so what
That's
does
my
it say about
separate.
you in general
What
with
does
all
that say
these?
about me in general? Yeah.
Okay. It means you're perfectly normal.
Okay, that's
We
good.
we we, we
That's
we're all
very.
like that, right? You know, we're all human, and we're all susceptible to all of these body language tells. We all do them. Um, I mean, the neck rubbing. If you've got a sore neck, rub it. It's not necessarily a body language tell, right? It's not. It doesn't necessarily need to mean anything.
Mhm.
So when we read body language, and especially when we read a client's body language, we look for multiple tells. So if he's stressed, I mean, if he rubs his neck, he might have a sore neck. So we're not going to instantly go, oh my God, he's stressed. He rubbed his neck. But if we see tense shoulders, if we see heavy breathing, if we see rapid, verbal speaking, if we see an increased blink rate, if we see stiff, tense shoulders and muscles, then okay, yeah, okay, he's stressed.
Hmm.
But we do that, so we've got a set of congruent tells that all say the same thing, and then we can make a call on it and say, yeah, this guy's stressed. But if you rub your neck because it's sore, you rub your neck because it's sore. That's not body language. That's
Okay,
that's
good.
self
Oh,
care, right?
Okay.
finally. Oh, damn it. Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Okay.
Thank you, Mandy, for the question. So, you mentioned earlier that the first book by Juliet, the yellow book that you
Yes.
showed,
Yes. Yes.
that
Yes.
you agreed on the body language and the tells, I believe. And I know that there are body language experts on YouTube who like to dissect every big meeting event, like you have to do for
Mm,
several newspapers and TV, etc. TV,
mm,
I don't know.
mm.
But yeah, how does that differ? Are there huge differences? And if there are differences, is it even true? The different tells, how you interpret them.
Well,
Or is it like
I
tarot
mean,
cards?
yeah, no, we different analysts. I think the only difference is that some analysts spot different things.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
so, I mean, Judy James and I have worked on a couple of things. We, not knowingly, but we've worked together and we compared notes, and
Mhm.
they've been pretty much the same. So I
Right.
might have
Hmm.
spotted something else that Judy hadn't, and Judy spotted something else that I hadn't. But
Hmm.
when we compare them, the outcomes, the general consensus is the
Right.
same, right?
Okay.
And
Hmm.
that's pretty much it. Body language is definitely quite uniform, but as I say, you have to be very careful that
Hmm.
you don't jump to conclusions, and you don't apply your own premeditated
Yeah.
conceptions or beliefs that you think this is how it should be. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, that couple's definitely fallen out.
Okay.
Especially I do a
Yeah.
lot of celebrities. I had one magazine wanted me to, you know, basically slate the state of this couple's relationship as a celebrity couple, and they said, tell us how bad the relationship is. And I actually analysed the footage and the photographs that they'd given me, and I
Hmm.
said, to be honest, they look fine. They look really good
Oh, the
together.
disappointment.
Yeah, well, the
Oh,
magazine actually changed the article to say
oh,
that, yeah, the couple's looking good. So,
good.
you know, and they
Now,
did. They stuck together. They stuck together and they're
yeah.
still together. So
Oh,
go me.
now good
Yeah,
prediction there.
yeah.
Now, body language, is it universal across cultures?
Yes and no. Yes, it is universal, but certain cultures have different tells.
Hmm. Okay.
But you can usually put the tell into the right box
Hmm.
because you look for congruence. Okay, so you're
Right.
looking for other tells. So if this
Hmm.
person is tense, 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 and they do some weird, you know, cultural mannerism, you can pretty much say, well, okay, so that's a tension display as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
in certain countries, this doesn't mean I'm okay. It
Yeah,
means
exactly, exactly.
or
That's not
something like
quite
that.
body
Yeah.
language. That's
Yeah,
but
I know, but still, yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Sorry,
Do
I'm
you have
being
any
super
examples
pedantic
then?
there.
Any better ones than I had?
No.
Nope. Oh, okay. We're refusing. All right. Is there anything? Derek, that you would like the hypnotherapy and NLP world to know that we haven't mentioned yet?
Uh, yeah, well, I would say, trust your instinct.
Hmm.
Trust your instinct because we're all experts at body language.
Right.
Um, and I'll give you two tips. Trust your instincts because we're all experts at body language. From the day we're born to the day we die, we observe body language. We respond internally to body language that we see.
Hmm.
We give out body language to other people. So we are all experts. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, One tip for the therapy room that I would give you is, and I haven't spoken about authenticity, and that's a big thing I'd like to speak about,
Hmm.
but another time, is be authentic. If you're authentic and you genuinely care about your client,
Hmm.
genuinely passionately care about your client and it's their well-being, everything I've just said will come naturally
Right.
because you'll be congruent in your own body language. Your own body language will display unconsciously to that client. That client will pick up the fact that you do
Hmm.
genuinely care, and
Right.
that client will come down and feel safe and feel seen and feel validated.
Hmm.
One thing that I use in the therapy room, and this is solid gold, it's not something I use deliberately, but again, I'm just being me, right? And this is me, this is how I am. I don't
Hmm.
change when I'm in the therapy room. I'm still
Yeah.
just me, right? Take a note to get some personal information from them.
Hmm.
Like if they mention their dog and so stressed and I had to take the dog out. Oh, you got a dog? Yeah, I've got a wee chihuahua. All right, what's his name? Oh, Charlie, Charlie the chihuahua. All right, is he okay? Yeah, well, he was at the vet the other day there, but he's fine.
Hmm.
When you see your client next week, ask him about the chihuahua.
Hmm.
Oh, by the way, how was Charlie? How did he get on at the vet?
Hmm.
That client realizes instantly that he's not just a name in an appointment book.
Yeah.
He's not
Mm.
just he's not just an extra couple of quid in the therapist's pocket for that
Yeah.
day.
Mm.
You've actually listened to him and you've remembered. Yeah, it's in your notes, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you've listened to him, you've remembered, and something deeply personal, his wee dog,
Hmm.
you've cared about even his wee dog.
Yeah.
And that client will love you to the end of the earth because you remembered his dog, right?
That's a good one. That's a good closing word. Any more
Yeah,
questions, guys? Or anything else we didn't mention yet? We've answered all the questions. Then thank you so, so much, Derek, for being here, being my guest. This talk has
my
been
pleasure.
fantastic, as I knew it would be, and thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Scotland is here. Most of it. All right. Well, thanks so much, Derek, again for being here. Thank you, everybody who was on the call live. And thank you if you made it through here in the replay for watching. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel because I love growing it. Thank you, Sonia, for coming on as well. And oh, next week we have Sean Michael Andrews, I believe. It's Sean Michael Andrews week with rapid inductions. Everybody, have a good evening. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Derek.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Derek.